Welcome back to Muris, the world of mice, crickets, shrimp, and bees. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I thank you for all the support in 2024. And this year, I hope to make it to 1,000 subscribers. We've already hit 600 subscribers. May the 4th be with you. I'm sorry for the long wait. Stay till the end to see the winner of the Muris Fan Creature Contest in its natural habitat. Muris, the world of mice, is a seed world. A seed world is an alien world seeded with Earth life by an intelligent life form. In the last episode, we explored the continent of Solas, the land of giants. Now we will be exploring the many islands in the vast ocean of Muris during this great time of biodiversity. The separation of the Viren continent has left a trail of volcanic, tropical islands. These islands were a sanctuary for the lost sunflower jungle and its bee inhabitants. Deep in the canopy of the jungle, we see two scarabee descendants, the sea bee. Here we see a male use their vibrant but heavy wings to get the attention of a female. These arboreal scarabees use their large mandibles to crush the large seeds in the sunflower jungle. Even though their wings are made of chitin, they still use it to occasionally fall with style from tree to tree. The canopy, however, is not safe, for there are threats that the bees cannot see. The vibrant red scarlet bumblejag may seem to stick out like a sore thumb, but the red coat is the predator's key to survival. Bees cannot see red wavelengths of light, making the predator all the more deadly, especially at night. The bumblejags have fused their first two sections into a highly mobile neck, and their vestigial wings becoming mere spurs on their neck. Their tails have elongated, and the stinger is more mobile to attack prey. The floor is not safe either, because another species of bumblejag roams. This more rotund bee is another ambush bee. They are larger, relying on camouflage and size over speed to hunt. To keep their large build, they occasionally snack on food that is not meat. These gilded bumblejags have a special coat that allows them to blend in with the thick underbrush in their natural jungle floor environment. Another unbelievable denizen of the jungle is the buzzboar. This 150-pound bee is a common snack of the bumblejags that roam the forest floor. They have very derived mandibles that curve up, and they use them to dig for roots, tubers, and small invertebrates. These act like boar tusks, hence the name buzzboar. The other part of the name comes from their buzzing behavior. They have special fibers underneath their wings that allow them to make long and low buzzing noises so they can communicate with each other over long distances. The eusociality of the bees have returned in the neobients. These small but flightless critters have gained the atavism of nest building. They climb the great sunflower trees to collect pollen, and then they construct their great ground hives that become their base of operations and royal chambers for their queen. This large queen is the single egg layer and most important to the colony. The neobients go to great lengths to protect the queen. When they are being raided by a predator, the queen will be crowd-surfed out due to the queen's slow speed. The Viren Isle is a bridge to Solas, and many creatures have passed through it, but one didn't quite make it all the way. The hammer badgers of South Virus have a population in the Isles that feed on neobients instead of the eggs of the war criminal crickets. One species of raptor bee began to feed on shrish, keeping the flying bee lineage alive and finding a safe haven in the Viren Isle. The demon fisher bee is a menace to all other creatures. They use their hooked tail to impale shrish prey as well as small animals, and they've evolved a special eye Their compound eyes have become concave, sending all light to one main eye, allowing for more focus and sight from very large distances, like an eagle. But this also has a side effect: glowing yellow eyes. They are also egg thieves, stealing the eggs of sea bees and replacing them with their own. More bees are dotted around the coasts of the many islands in the Isle as well as Skelana. These semi-aquatic bees are algae eaters. These shallow scrapers have giant mandibles perfect for scraping algae off the rocks of the shore, the salt around the area they live sticking to the scrapers, much like the marine iguanas on Earth. Their tail has two stingers formed into a fin for more locomotion underwater. One shrimp that feeds on algae and plankton is the con crab, a descendant of the sand shrimp. They've evolved a pyramid-like shell on their back that they can retreat to like a hermit crab. You might want to keep an eye out for these unassuming shrimp. I have a feeling they're going to meet up to some great things in the future. Skelana, the birthplace of the squilla vertebrates. This island is still producing creatures unlike anything that could possibly live on the mouse-dominated mainland. One of these creatures is a bee, a very large, herbivorous bee, the shrike. The shrike roams the plains of Skelana, using its rake-like mandibles to comb the grasses for seeds and wheat. Its wings have become a spiked shell to ward off predators, but it doesn't protect them all too well from the main predators of Skelana. The apex predator of Skelana is one of the largest creatures to ever live on Muris, all because of one thing. The worm colossus does not stop growing. One individual named Batissa was measured at 40 feet long. This colossal being is a carnivore, and it feeds on shrikes and any other creature in its vast territory. They cover such a large territory that there's only about 24 large adult individuals in all of Skelana. The worm hunts like a snake, encircling its prey and making no chances of escape. The spikes on its back are used for keeping prey in the circle, and when they grow too big, some worms go out into the ocean to hunt because the prey on land is not enough to sustain them. The worm is not a perfect predator though, and it leaves scraps. Scraps the bloodbeak will take. This goldbeak descendant is a scavenger and omnivore, and they come in a variety of colors and forms. Coastal bloodbeaks often feed on con crabs or shallow scrapers, while the inland ones feed entirely off carrion. Bloodbeaks are sexually dimorphic, and males have large horned crests for mating displays, and they occasionally hunt shrikes if they're desperate, and compete with the smaller infant worms as they're still developing. There is a vast ocean that spans a majority of Muris. Within it are some of the wildest adaptations yet, one of which is the red shepherd, a descendant of the red cleaner, a humble cleaner of the living islands. Now, their shepherd. It watches over herds of living islands, like one large living isle. It does this because it feeds upon the little chorkles that feed off the living islands. It has domesticated these chorkles to become plump and docile livestock. No fear, no aggression, just food. Another interesting adaptation is that of the shoe morph, seemingly shape-shifting into different forms. Like an octopus, the shoe morph's hairs have evolved to have chromatophores that change color, and special placement cells that arrange hairs into different textures, such as rocks, algae, or simply just camouflaging in the water. They primarily eat the myriad of shrish that inhabit all corners of Muris' oceans and freshwater bodies, and occasionally snatch a chortle or two from the living isles. Another shumorph that dwells in the swamp age is the nightmare, a large shumare that is the apex of the seas, eating any creature that comes in its path. They will even eat worm colossuses and whole living isles. Their only weakness? Poor reproduction, as they are few and far between due to their large size and inability to have multiple young. Across the pond is the island of Muris, home of the wolf gremlins. The wolf gremlins were created by Bill Wilson 949, so shout out to Bill Wilson for winning the Muris competition to add a creature to Muris. The wolf gremlin has the same body plan as the short-faced gremlin, but with some leftover webbing on the back legs. It grows to be around 4.8 feet tall and has large ears for hearing its prey. Additionally, the males have little tufts of fur on their heads. The wolf gremlin lives in the pine forests where it hunts with a pack of 5 to 12 other wolf gremlins. In the pack, there are different jobs for all the members, like ones that look out for young, typically the females or the old, and another job, which is the hunter, or the sentinel, which keeps eyes out for danger and warns the groups of nearby prey or predators, and even rival tribes. Then there are the hunters that hunt prey and bring back food for the others. But hunters and everyone else follow whatever the alpha says. The alpha has a larger puff on their head, and the alphas are allowed to have one male child, their son, which will become the next alpha. However, they can be challenged, and the two males will wrestle. The contender and the alpha will stand on their hind legs and keep that position till one falls, while trying to make the other fall. If they fall at the same time, they will fight until one is pinned. These wolf gremlins hunt all of the strange mice on the island of Muris, including the micro-titan. The great titans of Solas pale in comparison to the greatest of the greats, the micro-titan. This deer-sized creature looks similar to a corgi, with small legs and a lengthy body, but it uses this to navigate the thick underbrush. This creature is a textbook example of Foster's rule. It is the descendant of the largest mouse on Muris, but is only about 4 feet long and 100 pounds. These island dwellers enjoy chomping on the low vegetation in the pine forests and running from wolf gremlins. An unlikely creature has migrated from the continent of Ovalk and evolved to feed off the pine trees. This is the opposite of the micro-titan, the Parmuthal, and they have become larger due to the lack of predators, until when the wolf gremlins recently rafted over. They have grown long necks like a giraffe to reach smaller trees in the pine forests and eat them for nutrition. The Isle of Neoterra has never come into contact with any other landmass, thus all of its inhabitants were once flighted creatures. The most humble of these inhabitants is the Volpterre, a pteromoose like the swamp pteromoose, however smaller. This creature is the scavenger of both Neoterra, Muris, and also the scavenger of the coasts of southern Osiris. They have lost all fur on their body due to the high heat, and they've also evolved an extremely large nose that they use to detect carrion across very long distances. The apex of the flat parts of Neoterra is the javelin. This creature is also a pteromoose descendant. However, the javelin is completely flightless. Its winged forelimbs now just legs for galloping. Its long neck and spear-like bone spur on its head are used to skewer its prey, and it loves to prey on chubats, as well as the occasional shrish or volpterre. They are very fast and can gallop at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. This is a creature that is terrifying to run into for mice and humans. The predators only inhabit the plains of Neoterra, not the jungle, so the distinction between the chubats of the two biomes is night and day. The ones that inhabit the plains are known as the feral chubats. This is due to their aggressive nature and ossicones that it uses to fight predators and one another. They have similar stance to theropod dinosaurs like the T-Rex, but they are completely herbivorous. Their jungle cousins couldn't be any more different. These creatures have no predators, since the javelins cannot enter the thick jungle, meaning they thrive with no predation and no stress. They've evolved extreme mating displays, their fur being all sorts of different colors, which they get from the many flowers that grow in the undergrowth. They are descendants of the Volaris and have become flightless, their wings no more than mere nubs with little claws at the ends. They too have ossicones like their cousins that they use for battle, but the jungle Chubats battles are more like performances than actual fights. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to post more this summer where I'm less busy. May the 4th be with you. Have a good day.
This episode has been satisfactory.